All right, let's see what this is on, chat. Let's see what it's on.
WrestleMania 40 is in the books, and after watching the main event, I just know Triple H was right. Nothing is ever going to be the same. If it wasn't obvious enough, the Vince McMahon era is dead and buried, and in much better...
Vince pack watch, chat. It's a cigar. Relax. Yeah, I mean, we had to celebrate for my boy Cody. Vince pack watch, chat.
To hands with Triple H, who has his finger on the pulse. I mean, the man simply doesn't miss. Let's be honest, the minute we saw Cody lose on night one, it was predictable from that point on, and it was one of those rare occasions where you wanted wrestling to be
like I said on live, bro, if Cody and Seth, if they lost night one, then Cody was 1,000% winning night two. Like, if Cody had to defend, he was 1,000% winning. But if Cody and Seth would have won night one, I do believe Roman would still be champion right now. As the tribal enthusiast, as a huge Roman fan, I think his reign just ran his course, honestly.
Predictable. Even Samantha couldn't get her words out after the pinfall. There was no better time to finish the story. After winning at WrestleMania 39, Roman was on borrowed time, and Cody was always going to get his rematch at 40. I still remember last year when Cody and Jay bumped into Roman on SmackDown. That stare down alone was everything you needed to see, and after winning the Royal Rumble for a second time, it was obvious he was only going to choose Roman Reigns. Another thing I was impressed with was The Rock. Despite trying to take the spotlight, I honestly was so impressed with the way he did everything during the build. He probably didn't
chat. I don't know if it was just me, but me personally, I was more interested in the feud between Cody and Rock rather than Roman and Cody. The reason why I say this is because Rock was showing up week in, week out, even when they were Oscaring, like the insults back and forth online with the Rock making these long promo videos on social media, just being unhinged. My interest level started spiking more and more for that. For me personally, what I'm trying to say is, it seemed like Rock was more interested in the feud with Cody than Roman was with Cody, if that makes sense.
Follow along, so was out of touch with the recent storylines, so I can see why he tried to be a big time Charlie and push Cody aside for the main event. And the minute he knew he fucked up, he slammed on the brakes and hit a U-turn, so fair play to him. He became such a massive part of the story, and it felt like Roman had been...
It's going to be a domino effect for Roman versus Rock. Maybe at SummerSlam, whenever Rock and Cody do have their match for the undisputed title, Roman is going to cost Rock the title. Or either, I'm just thinking, I'm just fantasy booking right now. And that will cause tensions between the two, and then, you know what I mean? Because, Roman had just literally lost the title 24 hours before. And the next night on the Raw after Mania, Rock basically says, when I come back, I'm coming for you, and I'm coming for that title. Like, there's no way that Roman is okay with that.
Pushed to the side to some extent. At times, he sort of felt like a sidekick to The Rock, and that's probably the next chapter of the bloodline. The main event took up a decent chunk of the show. I'm sure they had around an hour and 20 minutes, including entrances, and after what went down, they needed every second. Cody came out to the ring with Brandy, and honestly, I gotta give a shout out to his jacket. It was a thing of beauty. Roman then came out with an orchestra. I don't know if it was just me, but this guy looks like the real final boss. He's absolutely jacked.
Bro. Nah, don't get me wrong. Rock, in terms of character work, like right now, like I said, he's doing the best work of his career. But Roman, like his whole look, his physique, his aura, everything around Roman just screams final boss. The theme song, everything. Like, he just gives off final boss vibes. I love Rock, but I wish they wouldn't have went with him being the final boss, because Roman, for the last 4 years over WWE, has been the WWE's final boss.
Probably camped out in the gym for the last few months. What an entrance. The match was as expected from a Reigns title defense. Opponent having their moments and Roman slowing the pace and taking control. But on this occasion, Cody was much sharper, countering and kicking out like Super Cena himself. Reigns landed a crossroads and sent him through the announce table, dragging him back into the ring for a Superman punch, but couldn't get the 3 count. Roman went back to his feet and attempted the spear, but was countered, and eventually Reigns was hit with a spear but kicked out. but Cody decided to throw the kitchen sink at him. This started the greatest shenanigans of all time. The match
facts.
basically became WWE's version of the Avengers. Cody went for the triple crossroads, and after the second, Jimmy Uso interfered with a super kick and set up Cody for a Superman punch. Just as Cody hit the mat, Jey Uso came out having a slugfest with Jimmy and sending him flying off the stage with a spear.
I seen Santi say that. I seen Santi say on Twitter that this interaction between Jimmy and Jay was better than a whole match that weekend, bro.
One member of the bloodline was gone. Roman watched on with Cody capitalizing with a roll-up but a kick-out. They continued with Roman landing another spear but a near fall once again. They carried on fighting with Cody sending Roman through the barricade and then taking him back to the ring for a triple crossroads again, with history repeating itself. Right before the third, Solo came out to the ring, landing the Samoan spike, but Cody kicked out once again. Solo was pissed and the bloodline landed the Samoan spike and spear combination, but again Cody kicked out at 2. There was only one man who had to come out, and after losing to Solo at Crown Jewel, Big Match John rushed out to the ring with a sea of
rushed is crazy. That's an overstatement. I love seeing him, bro, but this nigga ran like he had a big ass turd clenched between his cheeks. And he was just trying to make it, by the grace of God, to the toilet, bro.
humanity erupting for the return of the GOAT. He sent Solo out of the ring, landed the AA on Reigns, and then sent Solo into the good old Spanish announce table. But he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Rock's music hit, and one more time, we got to see The Rock and John Cena face to face in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania. Cena ate the canvas with a rock bottom, and then the Great One whipped out the Mama Rhodes belt and the Shield's music hit. This was a very important moment that we'll get to.
Chat, am I the only one that thought that? Well, I seen people online saying the same thing, but oh God, I deadass thought Dean Ambrose was coming back, bro. If you was in the stream, you know. But I deadass thought that was Dean Ambrose going over that music. I got so hyped, bro.
To later in the video, Seth was a man of his word and came out to the ring as Cody's Shield and took a Superman punch immediately from Reigns. This left The Rock holding a belt and staring at Cody Rhodes. He was going to whip the soul out of the boy's body, but just before he had the chance, the final Avengers music hit. The Undertaker. He met Rock face to face and landed the chokeslam with the lights cutting out, and when they came back, Roman was left with Cody, Seth and a steel chair. He went back to his feet holding the chair and had two options, Cody or Seth Rollins in Shield gear. Now let's take a little trip back to when Seth Rollins told Cody that he would be his Shield at WrestleMania. For Roman Reigns, there are two traumas, and one of them is Seth Rollins betraying him as he left the Shield. It's a nightmare that constantly reoccurs for Reigns. It's a moment that Sami Zayn offered him as well at the Royal Rumble in 2023. Part of why he hates Sami so much was that Sami also stabbed him in the back in the exact same way. The steel chair at his shoulder blades and the fall forward. No one knows this better than Seth, the creator of that moment. No one can get under Roman's skin like his old friend, and Seth knows it. At the Royal Rumble in 2022, Seth deliberately fucked with Roman's head and entered to the Shield's old music and wearing the Shield's gear. Roman's face when he appeared tells the whole story. It was during this match that Seth got into the mind of the tribal chief, a dominant figure in WWE who wasn't broken by anybody, showed his first signs of vulnerability because the mind games got too much, and he got himself disqualified after losing his head with a guillotine. He said he couldn't let go of Seth and what he did to him. Rollins admitted during one of his promos to Cody that he was partially responsible for the paranoia and the tribal chief gimmick. So that's why he offered his support to Cody Rhodes.
I made a video about that. You should check it out. It's right there on your screen. Whichever way is it. I'll put it up there somewhere.
the first place. At WrestleMania, when he shows up with the Shield music in the Shield gear with his chair, Roman takes him out instantly, but Seth achieved what he came to do. He got himself and a chair into the ring. He knew Roman will not be able to resist reenacting that moment once more, this time as the aggressor. The architect knows how to find the flaw in the foundation of the bloodline and to do what was necessary to bring down the monster that he helped create, thus making him Cody's Shield. This was the biggest mistake of Roman's life because Cody had an opening, and with no members of the bloodline left, he landed the triple crossroads to become the new undisputed Universal Champion. Love him or hate him, after 1,316 days as Universal Champion, Roman Reigns deserves respect. After Cena, there wasn't anybody worthy of carrying the company, and during the pandemic, we suffered without any headliner. Reigns stepped up, reinventing himself as a tribal chief with Paul Heyman and winning the Universal Championship from Bray Wyatt. After this, he left a mountain of bodies behind him, creating countless marquee matches against the biggest names in the industry: Edge, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Goldberg, Rey Mysterio, and the list goes on and on. He later captured the WWE Championship to further cement his dominance. He might have negotiated a contract with a reduced schedule, but he's earned that right because he's not leaving it in a state of mediocrity like the previous regime. He elevated himself, but it didn't stop there. He created a main event superstar out of Jey Uso and shone the spotlight on other talent like Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos. I don't think we'd be talking about a Renaissance era if it wasn't for the impact of Roman Reigns as champion. The Bloodline had matches in the main event for both nights of WrestleMania 39 and 40 indirectly as a result of Roman Reigns. I'm just glad I got to witness it start to finish. Coming back to Cody, honestly, the guy deserves it, and it's such a shame Dusty isn't there to see him as a champion. It takes a lot of balls to do what he's done, leaving the security of the WWE to bet on yourself to become the American Nightmare and taking independent wrestling to another level. He created a path for wrestlers who couldn't make it in the WWE when he formed AEW as an executive vice president, but the question always remained, would he come back to the WWE and would he win the WWE Championship? With the weight of the world on his shoulders and 6 years away from the company, he had one goal in mind: finishing the story. After everything he had been through before joining, he had another test coming his way after losing at WrestleMania 39. He had to stop himself from fading into obscurity, which he did perfectly. He kept the dream alive, and the support for him grew as he...
I was just gonna say that. It just felt like a lot of people were closed-minded at the time. They wanted him to finish it the first time around. Like, since he had freshly came back from the pectoral injury in January at the Rumble, things wouldn't have been like the way they are now. Not like Cody's even bigger now than what he was last year when he lost.
Became the new face of the company. When I think of WWE in 2023, I think of Cody Rhodes. I mean, the guy was everywhere, a true workhorse. The closing moments of WrestleMania 40 are a celebration of his journey. All the people that helped him along the way, including his mother, Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, Nick Khan, and most importantly, Seth Rollins, the man who let him go over at WrestleMania 38 on his return. It was no secret that when Cody joined the company, both men made it known they didn't like each other. Who would have thought we would see them working together as equals? Seth has always been a professional, but he has a mean competitive edge. It's crazy to me that Cody's biggest publicly known enemy in the locker room was his first win, and also was the main reason he finished the story. There's so many things that can be said, but for now, all I want to say is WrestleMania 40 is a textbook example of why we all love professional wrestling, and it's the beginning of a new era under a regime who really wants the best for the audience, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and also subscribe to the channel for more wrestling content right here on Wrestling Real.
Hey man, this past weekend has been the most anticipated, the most hyped I've ever been to watch professional wrestling. I've been to multiple events in the last year, going to more this year, but this one in particular, even though I wasn't there in person, which I should have been if it wasn't for my job, but we're not gonna talk about that. It was just perfect, bro. This is the greatest time to be a professional wrestling fan, and I'm glad that I am here now with an audience as well. Appreciate all you guys who subscribe to, enjoy all this with.